Let's have a nice cup of TRE in the afternoon with Hannah Murray.
With us on the line now is Craig Glenday. He's the editor-in-chief of Guinness World Records. Today is the 20th Guinness World Record Day, and they are celebrating their 70th edition, which will honour the Guinness World Record icons. Welcome to the show, Craig.
Hi, thanks again for having me. It's become an annual tradition.
I know, it's lovely, really nice. It's been over 10 years, hasn't it? I'm not sure how many it's been now.
Yeah, gosh, yeah. It's part of the calendar. I know Christmas is coming if I'm on Talk Radio Europe.
Lovely. So it's always great to speak to you on this day because I guess it's the most important day in your calendar, other than Christmas, perhaps.
Yes, I mean, book launch, the day we launched the book, and then this day, which is our annual celebration, where we would traditionally see, hundreds of thousands of people around the world attempting to break records. But this year, because we're celebrating our 20th Guinness World Records Day, and it's also the start of our 70th anniversary celebrations for the book, that we wanted to do something a little bit different. So we're still having lots of people around the world doing record attempts, but we have some very special visitors. So for the first time, the world's tallest and shortest women have come together and they've travelled to London doing a bit of sightseeing and are currently in the office just enjoying meeting the staff. So it's a really special moment for us.
It's lovely. I've saw lots of photos and videos online on Instagram today of the two of them meeting. It's incredible. What's it been like for them seeing each other?
Yeah, I mean, very different perspectives on life. I mean, physically different because obviously Ramesh is 215 centimeters tall compared to 64, I think it is for Jyoti. So that's 7 foot and 2 foot, so 5 foot difference between them. But they've found things in common. They do face challenges in life, but they were very much celebrating the fact that they enjoy things like self-care and they were sharing hair and makeup tips and just generally being a couple of women hanging out in London, enjoying. We had tea at the Savoy, which is very nice, I must say. And it's the first for all of us, I think, and it was very nice just to hang out with them and spend the day. And yeah, they're the two nicest people. They're lovely.
Oh, how nice. And you're really celebrating icons this year, aren't you? There's a big section in the book looking back over some of the iconic winners.
Yeah, so the idea is we wanted to highlight some of the people that we felt sort of truly embodied the idea of record breaking and had literally iconic status, so they're very recognisable, famous around the world. And there's a huge mix as well, because I think the joy of Guinness World Records, I've always said, is that real mix, like a vast spectrum of interests. So the icons that we're celebrating as part of this first tranche is, of course, Jyoti and Rumesa, the world's tallest and shortest women, but also people like Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has made a huge contribution to society in terms of her musical output. Her tour is the first $1 billion tour. So she's in there. LeBron James, the NBA player, just the most points scored. Max Verstappen, the Formula One driver. Dave Walsh, an amazing chap from Gloucester, who's basically the world's strongest disabled man, as he calls himself. I am the world's strongest disabled man. He does this amazing powerlifting from his wheelchair and has a record for pulling trucks. So he can pull a truck from his wheelchair. It's just incredible. So it's that mix of that interesting dynamic between all these different types of character who we wanted to celebrate and acknowledge as being true icons of Guinness World Records. So, yeah, there's a big focus on them this year.
Yeah, lovely. And there's one of them is the oldest person ever, who was from France, 122 years and 116 days.
Yes, the amazing Jean Calment from France. Yeah, she was. Seems unbeatable. People are sort of getting older. Healthcare has improved, but no one's quite reached Jean Calment's 122. I think the next nearest one was 119. if I remember rightly, 120. So it's not beyond the realms. There's a theory that someone alive now will be, getting to her age and beyond with the where we're going. But as in terms of a legend, then she is such an icon, Jean Calment.
Yeah.
Also the oldest actress, the oldest person to undergo surgery. She was still cycling at 100. I think she was still smoking at 100, but don't tell people that. She's just an amazing, amazing character. Yeah, and these are the type of people that we want to celebrate and just say you are inspiring the next generation of record holders to be officially amazing.
Yeah. And from oldest to youngest, I noticed that Greta Thunberg is in there as the youngest Time Person of the Year at 16 years, 354 days.
Yes. Again, I think she is one of these icons that, is instantly recognizable, has made a huge contribution, continues to make a big contribution to improving our world. And to do it at such a young age, and then, in fact, then be acknowledged as a Person of the Year by Times is one of the most prestigious acknowledgements you can have, up there with being a Guinness World Records icon, of course. It was important that we honoured her and say that we stand alongside her, we support what she stands for, and it's an important message for this generation that we have to take care of the planet. We need people like her to get the message out there.
Yeah. I'm always fascinated to try and work out and understand and imagine the type of people who get a Guinness Book of World Records every year, for possibly as a Christmas present. It must be such a wide range of people, from young people, getting into it and being fascinated in it from a young age, which was definitely myself. And I'm sure there are people who have loved the book from when they were young that still enjoy it every year as an adult.
Oh yeah, I mean the great thing, like for example, today we've just heard we're number 1 on Amazon, which is amazing, great news for us.
Yeah,
but that shows that we're reaching a wide range of people. And if you read the comments, which we do obsessively, you find it's like grandmothers saying, "I got this for my grandson," but it's also people saying, "I got this for my granddad or for my uncle." Because there's something in it for everyone. And again, that's another of that, the joy of being such a sort of a range of variety of content in there, is that if you're not interested in one topic, you turn the page and there's something whole new and interesting to get your teeth into. And that's timeless. The desire to find out more about the world and to want to learn about the interesting and the most extreme things in the world, I think is timeless. It applies to every age. And yes, I remember reading it as a 8-year-old, 1986 edition, I think it was, I started. But I still see people who are my age, that they still get the book at Christmas.
Yeah.
And that's a lovely message, that it's intergenerational, you can share it amongst the family. And there's something there for everyone. And that must be why it's still, I think, being at the top of the charts, really, because it's just so varied and I hope inspirational for people who think they might want to try themselves to be in the book. Oh,
definitely. And it's a great way to use to play games at Christmas. You can use it for quizzes and things. Somebody can sit there with the book and you can even take turns as the quiz master and say, okay, how old do you reckon the oldest person was? Or how long do you reckon this woman's fingernails are? And you can have little competitions. That's always fun.
Yes. Once I was playing in a pub quiz, and I didn't tell people who I was because you don't want them to hate you for being in the opposite quiz team. But we came joint first, my team and another team, and there was a tiebreaker question. And the tiebreaker question was, how far was a curly whirly stretched to set a Guinness World Records title? And I knew the answer because I was the record holder. It was me. It was my record. So I've always treasured that moment when I was the answer in a pub quiz question and that I got asked and therefore won the quiz because I got it exactly right.
Brilliant.
But that's the flexibility of Guinness World Records. It can be used for many things.
Yeah.
And we are very good at pub quizzes, I must say.
Well, you'll have to come to one of mine. I've been hosting a weekly pub quiz in an Irish pub here for 14 years. And I do a question called a long shot question towards the end of the quiz, and it always has a numerical answer, and so it's not a question that people are expected to know. And the team that guesses closest to the correct answer wins a bag of sweets. And more times than not, it is a Guinness World Record question that I ask.
Oh, thank you. That's great. Yes. Oh, I must do that then. Yes, I was in Ireland recently. Actually, I did the largest tin whistle ensemble.
Oh, fabulous.
And it was such a lovely few days. We went to Castle Bridge in Wexford, where effectively the Guinness World Records was born in Castle Bridge. Well, Sir Hugh Beaver, who was our managing director of the Guinness Beer Company, he went there in the 1950s. That's why we're celebrating our 70th. Because 70 years ago there was a hunt out there. They were shooting for game birds, and that caused the argument, which is the fastest game bird in Europe. So, I've always wanted to go to Wexford, and I got the great excuse because I had to go and count over 2,000 people playing the tin whistle. It was such a great experience, and I loved the whole atmosphere, and that families were coming together. You know, that's another great thing we hear is doing record attempts like that. Families were coming together from all over Ireland. In fact, from all over the world, there were people coming from the USA and from parts of Europe because they wanted to take part and play Dawn of the Day, which I think I'm told was a very traditional tin whistle number, and also the Boys of Wexford, of course, which is their local sort of hero song.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. It reminded me of just how amazing my job is, that I get to do these things and meet these amazing people and watch 2,500 people. I was going to say torture that tune, but no, they played it quite well.
You can't say that, Craig.
No, they did it very well, I must say. And it was, and great to see Wexford, where the Guinness World Records book began. So,
yeah.
Lovely experience.
And something I'm not sure if I've asked you before, I don't think I have. Where did the connection between Guinness and this book come from? How did it all come about? It must be one of the longest kind of branded partnerships in history.
So that was in the early 1950s. So Sir Hugh Beaver was the managing director of Guinness, and Guinness Beer Company are always looking for innovative ways of promoting their stout. They have to work a little bit harder, I think, because not everyone likes stout, and they didn't necessarily have their own pubs to sell the stout in. So all the advertising was really fancy, and that's why Guinness, I think, still has top-notch advertising. All the Guinness beer adverts are very memorable, aren't they? They're very good. So anyway, so Hugh realised that when he had this game shoot, that there would be people arguing all over the country, if not all over the world, in pubs and bars and playgrounds about all sorts of things. Who's the highest paid soccer player, or what's the tallest church spire, and all that sort of stuff. They said what you needed to do was have a book that sits behind the bar, and if there's ever an argument, you turn the heat of the argument into the light of knowledge and reach for the Guinness book. And it proved to be a huge success. They hired the Norris and Ross McWhirter, the twins, who had this almost photographic memory for sports statistics. And they compiled the book in a year, and it was a huge success. It was given free to pubs.
Wow.
Yes. So it did very well, but people kept stealing it. So they had to say, stop stealing the book and go and buy it. So they put it on sale in shops, and it did very well. It was Christmas #1 in 1955. And it's just more or less been top of the charts ever since. We're now not owned by Guinness. The Guinness Beer Company, or Diageo, then sold us in 1999, which is why we had to change our name to Guinness World Records as opposed to Guinness Book of Records. But we got to keep the word Guinness. It's now probably in more countries than the actual Guinness stout. I think we in more places than, and we're a lot healthier.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. What a great story. I'm glad I asked. I knew you'd know the answer, Craig. But thank you so much for being with us. It's always great to chat with you, particularly on Guinness World Records Day. And what does the rest of your day look like? What are you up to?
I'm off now to the BBC. We have Jyoti and Romesa in the office for a little party to say goodbye. But I've got to go off to the BBC and do London TV news. So I've been up since 5. I'm exhausted, but it's worth it. The adrenaline is surging, so that's good.
Oh, fabulous. Well, have a great day and a wonderful year ahead. And I look forward to chatting with you next year on Guinness World Record Day.
Year, same time.
Thanks so much, Craig. Take care.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.